Hi guys, this is Annie with iTradePrice. I just wanted to touch base with you guys regarding our dot indicator. I've been getting a lot of questions, as you know, that I've been posting my trades on Facebook, and I get a lot of questions regarding what this dot indicator is. So just wanted to break off the mystery and give you some information about it. A little bit background into it is that NASDAQ is a market weighted index, right? So meaning that the stocks with largest market cap will have the greatest impact on the index. So therefore, if most of the large caps are trending towards one side, it is likely that the overall index will also follow the similar path. So for example, if Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, or Meta, they're trading lower and have a bearish momentum, it is likely that the index will remain under pressure and it will trade lower during that time period. So what does the dot indicator show? What does it do? Now this indicator takes the largest 6 stocks by market cap, and if 4 of those 6 names are trending in 1 minute chart, it identifies that specific time period. And it puts a dot on 1 minute chart of QQQ or NQ, which is the E-mini NASDAQ futures contract. Now the dot will be blue if the momentum is bullish, and it will be purple if the price is trending bearish or there's some market pressure there. So you can say it tells you the market bias, and it tells you, a good time to take trades, position trades at that point. So during that time period, whenever the market is trending in some direction. So now I'll have UC walk you through a couple of examples of how we've been using this dot and incorporating it in our daily trading as we see some trends and we take those trades, and how can you be profitable using this dot strategy.
Okay, so like Annie explained to you, that this indicator basically looks for the momentum in the underlying stocks that you're trying to capture, right? Like, so if you go into the settings of the indicator itself, right, you will see we have these 6 names, which we think have the biggest weight on the NASDAQ index. And if something changes, let's say tomorrow or after a few days, some other company takes over the place of Meta or Google, you can always replace that, right? And these levels are, these thresholds can be tweaked to optimize them as per your risk, but these are the default levels, okay? So once you have these, once you apply these dots on a 1 minute chart on the QQQ or NQ, right? So these blue dots, as Annie explained, show you the bullish momentum in the underlying stocks that you're trying to kind of track. And when it's purple, it is bearish momentum at that particular point in time, right? So how do you trade this with this information, right? So there are multiple ways, right? You can use this. Obviously, everyone trades differently when it comes to trading, and the eventual P&L will depend on your target and stop loss and all that, right? But just by definition, any indicator you use will have a slight lag, right? So therefore, keeping all of that stuff in mind, the multiple ways that you can trade with this, of course, this is not an exhaustive list that I will be going over. You can definitely have other ways, but the ones that both me and Annie like to kind of trade with this information is the number one is you just can short right there and then, or to go long right there and then when the dot appears, right? So obviously everything will have its drawdowns and its plus points, right? So for example, this dot appeared here, you would have found out by the time this bar closed, your short would have been at 21,095. It went down all the way to 44, about 50 points drop from there, right? So only once the first dot appears, so you're going to take the entry after the first dot. So if it's a purple dot, you see it, the entry right here, you take the short right there, and then, you can adjust as per your P&L. So this one right here, short right there, it dropped from 21,097 all the way to 67, about 30 points, right? You can trail, you can stop, or if you don't move, obviously you would get stopped because it kind of bounced from there. So that's one way. And then, I'll tell you how else to use this, but let's say this is where both the blue and the purple dots are appearing, right? That's what it means. It's both bulls and bears are trying to fight, we don't have any particular direction, so it's good to avoid that, right? Right here in this bar right there, we only have the blue one left, right? So that means the bulls are winning at this particular time. So you go long right there at 1063, and then it came down about 20 points, and then it went back up, right? Depending on your P&L, you could, or your target, I mean, and your stop loss, you could have come out profitable or come out with a slight loss, right? All right. And then this is where the purple dots started showing up again, taking a short right there. This would have given you nice, 50, 60 points, something like that. So over here, this is for January 10th. So it's today, right? This is where the blue dots appear. If you take the entry after the first blue dot, you would have entered right there at 29.95, something like that, and then it went all the way up. Now that's one way, right? What's the other way you can trade with this information? So another way is that you wait for the dots to appear, right? And then you, if it's a bullish trade, right, then you wait for a red bar, right? So that's some sort of a pullback within that uptrend, right? So first red bar would have been right here. You would take the entry right here, and then you depending on again on your stop loss or target, you would kind of manage it accordingly. If you go back, this was the first purple dot, right, that appeared, and we got the bullish bar right after that one. That's a pullback. We need to short, so we short right there after the first green bar once the purple dots start. Okay, this one right here, the blue dots started here, but since we also had purple dots here, so we're not going to do anything. This is where we got the first blue dot with the red bar. You would have taken the entry right here at 63. It went all the way up till 82, about 20 points, and then it went back down and then went back up. Anyways, over here, you would have taken the short right here because this was the first green bar within that purple dots, and it would have given you from 95. It went all the way down to 66, about 34 points or 30 points, whatever. And this one, from that perspective, would have stopped you out because you would have taken the entry after this long green bar, right? And you would have taken the entry here at 99, and you would have stopped out. Okay, so this is what I mean. You can take the entry right there and then. Secondly, you can take the entry after some sort of a pullback, and that pullback can be a green bar, right? A bullish bar if you want to short, and a bearish or a red bar if you want to go long, right? That's another way. Another way is that I like to play and I like to trade as well is that, for example, right there. So for example, this 1058 bar, right? Today at 1058 on January 10th, we saw the first purple dot. So then what you do is you go, if I go to NinjaTrader at that time, right? And what we do is we open the NinjaRenko with 12.4 settings right there. Let's apply another couple of indicators. Let's try the EMA, 100 EMA. We'll use it as our stop, and then clouds, which is basically the 34 and 40 EMAs, right? So it kind of makes a little cloud around the EMAs. So what was the trade time? The trade time was short 10:58 in the morning, right? So now if you go to 10:58 in the morning, 10:58. Okay, so that's where we saw the bearish momentum pick up, that's where when we got the first purple dot, right? So if you drill into NinjaRenko view, 10:58 is something like right here. That's where you would have found out at 10:58 that you have the first purple dot. So what you do is you ensure at that point in time this cloud is yellow, and then you wait for the pullback. What does the pullback mean? In this case, the pullback is let the price come above this yellow cloud, right? And once it gets above the yellow cloud and you get the first red bar, right, you enter right there and then a short. So it would have been 21,003 short, and then depending on your profit target, your stop loss, let's say you do multiple contracts, right? So you take one profit at 20 points, one at 25, and then leave the runner as long as the cloud is under 100 EMA, you keep trailing it, right? So that means if you would have taken the short right there at 21.03, your runner position would come out right over around here at 29.74, because that's when the cloud got back above the 100 EMA, right? So that's how you can trade it as well, right? Let's look at another trade. Okay, this one right here at 12:41, we got the first blue dot. Now let's go to the NinjaRenko chart at 12:41 today. 12:41 right there, right? So we would have found out about it somewhere around here. Now we're waiting for the price to get back under the blue cloud for us to take an entry, right? You don't want to, you can take an entry right there. That's fine if you're trading right there and then. But if you want some sort of a pullback and a little bit of better entry, then a good way is to let the price get back under the blue cloud. And I think we got that right over here. It was not totally under the blue cloud, but had you taken the trade here, and again, depending on your stop, you might have gotten stopped out or not. But let's say, you took it and you got stopped out, right? If you do not consider this a pullback because the bar was not fully under the cloud, then you would have waited and you would have gotten an entry right there, a very nice clean entry, because this was the pullback, right? And you would have gotten the entry right at this green bar, and then you could have waited to take profits wherever you like, right? So that's how you trade. And you could have remained in the runner as long as the cloud is above the 100 EMA, because that's very important, because ideally you want three outcomes from your trade: small profits, small losses, and or big profits. You don't want any big losses. So I think the way to do that is to let your position run as long as the momentum is in your favor, right? You can always use some sort of like I said, 100 EMA to, like for example, this one. If the price or cloud gets back under 100 EMA, you close your position. If it gets back above, you get, and the clouds are blue, you can keep looking for trade entries towards the long side, because that's where the momentum is. That's where the bias is, right? So from 12:41 onwards, we were in a long bias. So had you been taking the trades towards the long side, the chances are you would have been coming out profitable, right? This is if you want to take the information from the ThinkorSwim platform, from this dot indicator, and then go back to the NinjaRenko and trade in the NinjaRenko chart, right? But I also showed you can trade directly on the NQ with a 1 minute pullback, or just going long there and then. Let me just kind of browse a little bit back. Let's go back maybe a few days, or we can actually go back, let's say 10 days, right? And just kind of see how it looks, all those dots for the past 10 days, right? Let's wait for it to finish the load. Okay. So, come on. It takes so long to load. Okay. So, shorts right there, long right there, would have definitely stopped you out. This one too. Okay. So, this is, what is that? December 27. This is where the shorts would have paid nicely. Again, nothing here because we have both the dots. So we don't do anything in that scenario. Longs right here. Okay. Let's keep going. Short right there. Shorts. This is long. Long. This was aftermarket, so don't bother about that. Don't like to trade that. This is again short bias. Look for shorting. Look for shorting. If the price gets back up above towards resistance, this is still purple. You look for shorts. Okay, so shorts right there. A little bit of long. Again short. This is again short. Long bias right there. So yeah, I mean, this kind of gives you a good overview of what the underlying stocks are doing that make up the NASDAQ index, right? Because I mean, you are trying to follow some sort of logic here, right? You're trying to build some sort of story. You're not just taking trades blindly because of, how you feel towards the market at that point in time, but you're trying to, you know, trade smartly. And the chances are, if you do that, things will fall into place nicely. So hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions, things like that, let me know. You can always reach us out on Facebook or Twitter, or just hit me up an email at uc@iTradePrice.com. Hope you guys like this video. Take care and have a good rest of your evening, guys. Bye-bye.